We're back.
We're back. We just watched episode 2 of our Kaleidoscope Challenge. If you are joining us for the first time, we are doing the Kaleidoscope Challenge. It's something that we kind of thought up.
You thought it up.
I thought it up. I always like to spread the credit around. But what the Kaleidoscope Challenge is that we finished watching the show Kaleidoscope and we wanted to pick it back up and start it brand new in a random order. And so what we've been doing is that we've been taking this Multiverse of Madness bucket with a whole bunch of different colors in them, pulling out a color, and whatever color we draw is the episode that we watch. Last week we watched episode green, and this week we picked episode blue. I'm blue, hey there, Mr. Blue.
Yeah, sick of that
okay.
one. The first song, I don't even know has blue in it.
What? I'm blue? I'm blue, da-da-dee-da. That's the whole song, I'm blue.
There's words in that song?
Yeah, it's I'm blue, da-do-dee-da-da.
That's the only words I know.
That's it. I don't think it's anything else except for the I'm blue, da-do-dee-da-da.
Got it.
Okay.
Not fully aware now.
So, my biggest takeaway from this is Giancarlo Esposito is the bomb.
But we knew that.
Yeah, I'm always going to say that. Like,
okay.
Come on. The man is just awesome. He's dope at his job.
Got it.
Second thing, what was your first impression of the episode? If this was episode 2, that's the way we're approaching this. We could talk about the little Easter eggs and things.
I feel
the
like
chocolate
if this was
Easter
the
eggs.
very first episode I watched.
Second episode.
But if this was the first episode that I watched, I would have been lost.
You think so?
Yes.
Like if it started with just like
blue. I feel like I would have been lost. Like even they didn't say people's names right away.
Yeah.
Other than there was Silas.
Yeah.
Everybody else's name wasn't really mentioned.
No, we didn't really get.
So I was like, I would have been like, who is who and what is what and what's their connection? You wouldn't have known that Hannah was his daughter. They didn't have any interaction that.
But then, as things unfolded, you would have gotten it. I think it would have worked as a first episode, because it's like it throws you into the middle of the heist. You're right there.
And not in the middle of the heist. In the planning. Yeah. That's what's cool because people like.
You're kind of like jumping right into the action.
But in terms of character development, no.
Oh well, a little bit because I actually was thinking about that
with Silas.
No, when they were all drinking. You got a sense of all their individual goals and what their wants and needs are.
Yes.
And you also got to see the dynamic and the conflict of the group, specifically Bob Bob with Stan and Bob generally being a bully and kind of like a dim-witted character, instead of paying attention to what was, the planning.
Judy being the pacifier.
Judy being his Black Widow to the Hulk.
That's true. And Leo being...
the mastermind, the planner.
And kind of callous and cold.
He's very callous and cold and straight to the point.
Yeah.
And if this
y'all
was
get it together because we got a plan of action.
Right. And if this was if this was our first episode, we would have seen Leo shaking and not knew what exactly was going on. That would have been like a little nugget for us.
Making some kind of statue and carving.
Yeah, carving.
I was like, oh, should somebody with a trimmer be doing all this?
So I think that if this was our first episode, it would have worked. As a second episode, we understood why Leo was trimming.
We wouldn't have known all his all the people's names though.
No,
this was the first.
But I mean, we wouldn't need to know their names.
We just know that they were intent on stealing from this guy who he thought was a bad guy,
and for $7 billion for the money. And another thing is that we would have gotten to know them, and if we continued to watch the show, we would have learned each of their individual names and characters and got to know them better. So
who is this Andrew guy? Because we wouldn't have known who the Andrew guy
was. Yes. That's what it was. From the
Green episode.
So Andrew blackmailing him, we would not have gotten such a full picture of who he was,
or why he was so mad, or why his anger. He was like, my wife left me.
Right.
You could have
Right.
I didn't steal from you.
Right.
So we took it as he was a disgruntled ex-employee.
Right. And the thing about it is that, like, without context, they did a good job of explaining who he was, like, through exposition. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to say. That's what I was thinking, is that specific moment is a moment where I was just like, oh, what's going on? Like, okay, what exactly is happening? This dude's blackmailing him. Oh, Silas is not who he says he is, and the
call him with the soft voice,
right? And they tried to trick us. They tried to trick us into thinking that that it was Leo that was making the call, because they showed Leo picking up the phone
with the shaky hands.
Yeah, with the shaky hand, and the next thing you know, he's getting called.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Andrew character, like I felt like that was kind of out of place. But if it was the first episode, it'd have been like, oh, this dude's a little bit shady. You know what I mean? Like he's not who he says he is. And as a second episode, it is like oh, this dude is shady. Like he's not who he says he is. You know, like this is exactly what Leo was talking about in the first episode.
Right. You're rooting for Leo for a reason, because the Solace guy is not so on the up and up.
Right.
But can we talk about how Andrew wasn't all that smart? Like he had to have been smart enough to be working for this security company, IT and security and all of that. And he got fired because they thought he stole from him.
Right.
And if you know all the inner workings of your previous job, you know that this guy is super rich and super
on top of it,
resource heavy, super security heavy. Why do you think none of his people are going to come after you?
From like a bootleg Apple store.
He working at Radio Shack.
Yeah.
A mom and pop's Radio Shack. And he's like, okay, let me just go on about my business and get 4.3 million. And how's he going to explain that? He going to put the 4.3 in Swiss?
And also, like, where was his contingency plan? Like, that's the thing that got me. They always
showing those conspiracy theory movies. Like, okay, and if I don't show up for work the next day,
this is what happened.
Then my other coworker Roger
There's no contingency plan. I'm like, yo, this dude does IT. Like, how come he doesn't have a backup plan? Like,
even a Radio Shack, he could have done something.
He could have left a note somewhere, like, you know, something happened.
He has a reporter friend.
I need to reboot
the reporter
computer.
Knows a little
His
bit
ex-wife.
of something.
Why was there so much paint in the background?
I don't know. At Radio Shack, that don't really make sense.
Is that part of the kaleidoscope?
It was yellow though. It wasn't even blue. If anything, it should have been blue.
It should have been blue. Wow.
Now we're seeing plot holes.
It was supposed to be the yellow episode. That's why. And the yellow was supposed to represent his blood and his life leaving his body.
But the yellow. Oh, okay. Next.
Nah.
I feel like there were a lot of points throughout the episode that were like foreshadowing certain statements. Like,
yes.
Oh, I need a gun. What if somebody comes up to me and tries to shoot me?
And he said a British guy, and they were like, oh no, he did a British voice, and they were like, what? Like, why is the person British? Never mind, we know who actually kills him or attacks him. So, you know, a little bit of
They're not British
there.
though.
Yeah, he's Australian.
So that's one. But then there were other times where they foreshadowed, like they said stuff, and it was like, oh, that
pays off later.
Yeah, that pays off later.
I mean, that's, you know, where the chocolate Easter eggs come into play. You know, for example, in the elevator, they showed like the oncoming storm. You know, right before they actually have a conversation about it. That was one. His daughter. What did his daughter say? Her trying to hide the fact that they had the backup, the back door. Yeah, her trying to hide.
What? She's like, they would have done it 7 years ago.
She's like, it's just a glitch. What you think? Somebody's just lying in wait for something?
But in actuality,
that's exactly what the case.
But he said a few years back. That's what Leo said. He said, making it seem like it had been just maybe 2 or 3 years ago that he set it up, not a full 7 years ago.
Yeah, but I think it's back. But I always thought that it was her that set it up, but apparently not.
He said he paid $50,000 a few years ago to get it put in.
Right. From the original manufacturer. That's what he said.
So it wasn't 7 years prior because...
I mean, it had to be... Yeah, because she said that this place was built 7 years ago. Right. So I don't think there was any kind of connection. So it's like maybe
they did some upgrades a few years ago and he found out about it.
Yeah, he plugged in the back door. Another thing, the eye drop situation. You know, he put in a whole lot of whatever that irritant was. Like, he does not like it. He's just like squeezed it out into the eyedropper. And so his eye was irritating him. And I don't know if you caught, it's Hannah. Hannah was the one that was like, let me call you an eye doctor.
Right, yeah.
You know, like
nobody else was going to, he probably wasn't going to listen to anybody else. She knows how stubborn he is.
And how he's always on the go.
She didn't ask, can I call? She was like, I'm going to, it's like a
yeah,
I know
he's
like,
okay, I'm going to do
step.
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And plus it fits into the plan as well, you know. Another thing that we saw was her sister dropping the flowers, and they left the camera on the flowers for a bit, so that we can see, you know, how that plays out.
And the sister,
subsequent viewings.
We didn't know, but the sister said, "Oh, my Fitbit hates me."
Right.
Because she's been walking around town, all this paper to stack up.
Right,
just
and
so
the FedEx box. And she's like, they're essentially saying what the plan is, like right there out in the open. You know, like clear as day, they're saying what the plan is, but they're not explicitly putting it out there yet. It is definitely for follow-up viewings that you're supposed to be like, there it is.
Supposed
that's
to
what,
understand the true sleight of hand.
I get it now. Right, see how the magic trick was done. Let's see, what else is there?
Any thoughts about Judy never really addressing the fact that she said she wanted to go to this country town in Mexico, to see these the end of life for these butterflies.
Right.
She's just so enamored with butterflies.
I think
whereas the boyfriend,
right?
Whereas the boyfriend wanted to go to Bahamas, and so the Stan guy who likes her was like, I guess you're not going to be on those pink sands. So Bob gets mad at Stan, but in actuality, he's insecure. He's insecure, but he's so dim-witted that Stan was basically like, the Bahamas beach sands are different than the Mexico.
Right.
Like, your girl didn't say she's going to be in Bahamas with you.
Right.
So if anything, he's insecure, and Stan said something kind of rude, but he's putting two and two together.
That she doesn't see a future with him.
Right.
She doesn't see that.
Right.
She's not.
And he went all, berserk King Kong.
Right.
And
at the wrong person. And she spoke so passionately about it too. Like they gave
she
her
went into the whole detailed,
But once again, that shows you that character development that they're doing, where they're showing there's a gap between the pair.
Like he is all smitten with, and he said that that was another foreshadowing. Like, when we get the money, let's just take it and run. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Don't even think about nobody else. And she didn't say yay or nay to that. She just let's go make out and let's go do things. So I don't know if she was like,
tricked them with sex.
I agree with that plan, or I'm just trying to calm you down.
I think it was definitely I'm trying to calm you down and distract you. I don't think that she had any intentions of running off with him.
But she didn't deny or agree with what Stan said about those pink sands versus Mexico.
And we saw what happened at the end as well. You know what I mean? But as the second episode, if we were to meet them at first, we would see like her relationship with him was kind of business oriented. You know what I mean? Like the first time we meet them, if we are acting as if Green was our first episode, first time we meet them was basically a business transaction. Now we're seeing them together, and we're seeing the reason why Stan was afraid of leaving her, not breaking out, because he did not want it to be a situation where he would come out and she would be with him. And she is. But the relationship isn't on solid ground. Yeah, it's not solid.
She loves her chemistry. She loves figuring out things.
Yeah.
And then past that, it doesn't seem like she has the best selection abilities for her mates. No?
I don't think I have any chocolate Easter eggs this week, because everything this week was just all Easter eggs.
Everything was foreshadowing?
Yeah, everything was foreshadowing, which is, one of the reasons why we like this show. Let's see.
I looked up a little bit about the drum set that RJ said he wanted from Garbage, and it's from Big's drum set.
Yeah.
And he was known as the Nevermind Man, and Nevermind Man, because of a song he put out, and it just made me think about how kind of RJ is. Kind of Nevermind Man. Like, he came in and he was like, I did this. I almost got shot up by the dude. And he wanted a pat on the back, and he got ignored.
And he got a Nevermind.
He got a Nevermind. Nevermind Man type thing. And even he was all into cars. It wasn't until he said that he said something. Or he's into cars and he does drum a little bit. But just in terms of music and instrument and stuff like that, to him to be like, I want a true drum set, money talks or whatever, I can get it out of this historical museum. But you would think, he'd just be content with his cars and drumming on, random stuff. No, he wants a true drum set.
He wants that drum set.
Never mind that he's the never mind type man that nobody is even paying that much attention to.
Right.
He even talks about how growing up he didn't have that much, attention and affection with his family.
Yeah.
So he awkwardly hugs Judy in one of the scenes.
Right. Was that this episode that he awkwardly hugs her?
So I thought that was interesting that he wanted the Nevermind Man's drum set, and
he sees himself as that guy in the background that's basically playing the drums, keeping the beat,
keeping everybody else afloat, and without true recognition. How they play a larger role in the music.
Right. In the orchestra that is the kaleidoscope.
That's my chocolate Easter egg.
I think my chocolate Easter egg is the introduction of the safe, and we see the use of the color motif of blue, because that is the focal point of the episode. It is all about the safe and breaking in, and it was emblazoned in blue. Like, it had all this blue trimming going up and down, and I thought that was a good use of that color, because that is what we are supposed to be paying attention to and concentrating on. That's what the characters are concentrating on too. So that's my chocolate Easter egg for this week. Outside of that, it was just little tidbits here and there. The relationship between the sisters, because if this was our second episode, we wouldn't know exactly what she had planned. We have no idea what the sister has planned. We see that she has her sister working there. Right. Hannah has Kim working with. No, Hannah has. What's the sister's name again?
Their last name is Kim.
Yeah.
I'll say the Kim sisters.
The Kim sisters are just working at this place. Storm is coming. They're just hanging out on their phones, not thinking about anything. One of the sisters got a whole bunch of FedEx boxes because she works in the mailroom. She delivered a bunch of flowers because she works in the mailroom. Foreshadowing. Hannah having a conversation with one of the triplets because that's her job. All these things, these little things that we weren't privy to the first time we watched it, and now we are completely immersed and not necessarily surprised, but enjoying, because it's like, oh, did you catch that? Catch this?
Can we talk a second of how the triplet called and was like, we know your background.
Right.
We know that you can move our money.
Right.
How we needed to have it moved.
Right.
So it just made me think, so Andrew was killed in vain.
In vain, yeah.
But Andrew was still saying
Andrew was still trying to blackmail. Yeah, he was trying to blackmail him,
period,
yeah.
But he specifically said, what if the triplets find out?
Right.
Well, the triplets already knew. And
but then again, like, it's not like his previous identity had a criminal background. But he was at the party. Well, I'm moving ahead, thinking about, the episode where, spoilers. Well, this whole thing is spoilers. Where the wife died. He was at the party, but nobody could really identify him. Like, who would identify Silas as a criminal?
I guess it just goes back to, he's supposed to be this straight-laced dude who's been, worked his way up. He now has his own security company.
And he's associated with
Why would
this
you have
guy
changed your name?
Yeah. It would have begged more questions.
You don't change your name.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have begged questions, and they probably could have made some kind of connection.
Unless you're Better Call Saul, you don't change your name. Esposito. He's always with people. He's always in shows where folks have to switch their name up, switch their identity up.
He be doing them criminal activities on his shows, man. Either he's a scary bad guy, or he's a criminal doing stuff. Except when he was bugging out. He wasn't a criminal and bugging out. He was a cool guy, but he was a cool guy and do the right thing. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other thoughts? What did you think about the episode overall?
It was good. I have like a critical thinking mind. I have critical thinking mind. And so I enjoyed him going through, these are the 7 steps that we have to go through.
Yeah, I like that too.
And so I appreciated seeing the inside and inner workings of this and then that and then this and then that. There was still some kind of like, well, how are we going to get through the hallway? And he was like, oh, we'll figure it out.
Right.
And then it was like, well, we have a back door. And then it was like, we don't have a back door. And then it was like, we're going to blow that back door out.
right.
So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Learning
the problem solving and I agree.
I appreciated that aspect of it. So if you're really into mysteries and
how it's done.
And not even, like who done it. And, it goes into the detail of that. Probably it could have gone into more detail, but they wanted some aspects to be a mystery.
Yeah,
so.
and that's what I like. Like, there's a lot of restraint because, like, they're not really trying to show all their cards. You know, they want you to watch that last episode or watch the next episode and see how it all unfolds, because the way this episode ends is him going, let's go. You know, like, let's do it. And
like, we did everything we needed to do.
Everything is ready.
The storms are coming.
Right. So when you watch, you know, whatever the next episode is that we watch, we're going to have it in the back of our mind, like, oh, they went, they started it, they went to do it. So now I'm curious to see what episode we pick next, because whatever episode we pick next, it's going to leave a lot of questions dangling, you know, like, did the heist work? Or if we get an episode where it's post the heist, or, well, we already know that we're going to see during the last episode is going to be white, but we're going to see more character development, more bonding between the group, and also more shenanigans and more questions. So we'll see how it all unfolds. Any final thoughts?
Nope.
No? Okay. I guess for me, I enjoyed the episode too. I think if this was my second episode watching it, I would definitely watch another one, because I'd be like, okay, well, how did they, you know, did they do it? Did they, you know, solve it? Did they break into the safe? Did it all work out? And who are these people? I think that would be the secondary. The primary would be like, did they do it? The secondary would be like, okay, who are these people? How did they come together? And if the next episode that we watch does show that, it's gonna make me enjoy the show even more, I think. So
at least they explained a lot of things, and it's kind of like, well, what's going on with that? Like, when the lawyer was on the phone in the parking lot, it was like, who is she talking to?
Right.
And what are those bees about?
Right.
And
we didn't know. The first time we didn't know there were bees. Did we know there were bees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, they're your problem.
They're your problem now. Like,
yeah.
but we didn't. Oh yeah, they did show them buzzing.
Somebody put something
and then
in your eye drops too. Your contacts.
And then he was. I don't have contacts. I need to put my glasses on.
Oh gosh.
No, and then they showed him watching the video of the queen bees.
Right.
But why was he? I guess we don't know why he was like, they're your problem now. Like, why was he?
Yeah, because it wasn't like they were.
Yeah.
I guess it was just that was the line he needed to give.
And also, we know what happened with the bees a few minutes, you know, before that.
Yeah.
Because remember, like, he and the girl ended up. Was that when they were bonding? No, they were bonding when they went to purchase the car.
Yeah, it was the car.
It was the car. Or the van or whatever.
I guess they just wanted.
Yeah, like
they just wanted to signify to her, like, okay, you take care of it.
Right, you take care of these bees. I'm done with these bees.
But we didn't know who she was on the phone with, because it seemed kind of like she rushed off. You know?
Oh, can we talk about how Leo was ready to? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Ready to strangle Silas?
Him at the sauna.
He's like,
oh, that's another thing. It's like, how did he even get into the building and get up there?
Oh, dirty ass sauna. He's gonna murder him.
What's
those are
dirty about a sauna?
The sauna, the floors and stuff. You ever been in the sauna?
Yes.
Yeah, this is grimy, man. All this circulating hot air.
And sweat on the ground.
Yeah, man.
But what does that have to do with killing somebody? Because if the person's gonna be dead,
there's certain ways that if you die,
you want a clean death.
Like, yeah, you know, you want to die somewhere where you're not, you know, lying down in a sweaty pool and hot and musty and.
If you're dead, does it matter?
I mean, if you want to die, you might want to die in comfort.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Most people's death, they would like to die peacefully in their bed. On a hot sauna floor?
Yeah, that's true.
Your last gasping breaths of air is hot, sweaty air?
And what kept him
was
him talking about the storm.
Yeah. Yep.
So interesting.
Once he realized the storm. And this was like a kind of chocolate Easter egg that I was thinking about. Because we know later that he talks about the fact that he is black. The Giancarlo's character is black, and if he gets caught, he's in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna get in trouble over Silas's, you know, previous character Graham. And the way that Silas was describing the oncoming storm. Silas, yeah, like, you know, he was like, it comes from the Sahara, it does this, it's you know, it takes everything and it kills, you know what I mean? Like, the way he was describing it just made me feel like, okay, he's describing Giancarlo Esposito's like character, you know what I mean? As he was approaching. I mean, that I didn't pull it apart, you know, because we were watching the episode, but I was thinking that would be like, that is an interesting chocolate Easter egg where it just drew like this this racial comparison or you know, this racial dynamic between the pair. as he's this approaching storm about to strangle him,
I see.
he stops and he goes like, "Wait a minute."
Because
There's a
he
real
said, he
storm
was
coming.
like, we don't know if it's going to come or not.
Right.
And then he goes to look around and Esposito's out the door.
Right. No, he says it's definitely gonna come. That's what he said. He said like it like I can't remember what he said, but he did say something like it's definitely gonna come. Like there's nothing you can do about it. I think that's what he said. And so like to me it was like the way he was describing the storm was him describing Esposito's character coming towards him. So.
And you said you didn't have a chocolate Easter egg.
No, I said like I was thinking that was the chocolate Easter egg, but then I felt like it needed to be dove into deeper, but I didn't
think real.
I didn't dive in that deep.
Real.
Okay, then it's late. I'm sleepy. I'm over here blabbling,
And I'm rubbing your eyes.
Rubbing my eyes because my eyes are dry. I need the glasses, or I got Silas's contact lenses on. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Joseph. This is Sadana.
I'm just the wife.
This is CE. You are more than just the wife. Don't do that. You're also the hair specialist too.
Not today.
Again, your hair always looks dope. You always say that. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You can follow us on every platform except for a few. Twitter, are you a fan yet? TikTok, are you a fan yet? YouTube, are you a fan yet? Instagram, are you a fan yet? That's it. That's all you have to do. AREYOUAFANYET. Visit us, follow us, enjoy it, and let us know if you are doing your own kaleidoscope challenge. Get yourself a cup, get yourself a bucket, mix the colors around and pull it out, and let us know what you think, all right? Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you. Love you. Have a good one. Take it easy. Bye.